I am convinced that greenwashing, which is fabricating or exaggerating environmental credentials, is on a way out. It's becoming a vanishing problem. But there is something that is more dangerous than greenwashing, something that is elusive and indistinct in its causes, but detrimental in its effects. Now, before I tell you what this is, let's start by sharing why is greenwashing on a way out. Today, in 2023, most companies already have their sustainability strategy, ESG framework, net zero pathway, climate adaptation plan, or some variation on this, right? Think of it as a tree. Most companies already have an established 5, 10, 15-year-old tree, which has basic structure there, branches, energy reduction, waste reduction, water reduction, and the canopy and the roots. Of course, the tree is still growing because this is evolving process, right? But the basic structure is already there. Unlike 10 years ago when they started, when the tree was just shooting up from the seed, when they had energy reduction and maybe they just rolled out reusable, refillable bottles instead of single-use plastic bottles, right? So that was 10 years ago. Now it's more established and more mature. And that means, right, that they have a lot of data and information they can share and they can tell true and legitimate stories. Not greenwash, true and legitimate stories. They can say things like, we have reduced our energy usage by 14%. We have avoided 15,000 tons of greenhouse gas emissions. We have reduced our paper consumption because of digitalization by 32 tons. We have reduced water usage by 15,000 liters. We are replacing single-use packaging and we're introducing recyclable paper packaging. We are engaging local suppliers and therefore reducing food miles and diesel and fuel, right, flying things in from overseas, etc., etc. And next year we're going to roll out national sustainability trainings for all our staff, right? So companies, since they have a lot of these true and legitimate green puzzle pieces, why would they be greenwashing? It's much smarter and easier, in my opinion, to share the stuff that you've actually done as an organization that is true and legitimate. And that leads me to the next part, which is, what is then more dangerous than greenwashing? It is what I call particularization. It is a process of breaking an organization down into small tiny particles, small puzzle pieces, right? And then choosing 1, 2, or 5 green puzzle pieces that are true and legitimate, such as instead of single-use plastic packaging, we have recyclable paper packaging, right? And then serving them on a green platter to the world. People have limited bandwidth, and if I hear this message and two other messages like this, it will misguide me, misdirect my attention from other stuff, from the actual environmental footprint, from the stuff that actually matters. And the companies are not lying, they're not greenwashing, because they can back it up. They have done their numbers on it, they can prove that such and such thing saves water, and we have this certification, and we have had this audit done, etc., right? And because this particularization, breaking things down into small particles, if you've ever done ESG report or if you read ESG report, you know what I mean. Abundance of very detailed, explicit parts. Sometimes you're wondering, why is this information even there? Like, who really cares about it? This can skew us into believing that chopping things down into small details and quantifying, putting them on chart, tabulating it, is the stuff that actually matters. This is the biggest danger of particularization. Hi, I am Jan from sustainablebutterflies.com.au, and on the screen you see my 5 pillars of sustainability. This video is related to the previous video on this subject of greenwashing versus particularization. With particularization, we have different ballgame. With greenwashing, we had to distinguish between fabrication or exaggeration and truth, such as a cleaning product detergent company putting a green eco label on their dishwashing liquid and saying, oh, this is so environmentally friendly, and yet it was full of chemicals, ammonia, chlorine, and some lung and skin irritants. Obviously, that is greenwashing. That's bullshit, and anyone can pick it up like that. But we don't have that problem anymore. Nowadays, we have concern with, due to this particularization, which truth that we're being served, and all of them are true and legitimate, these claims now, which truth is the one that is relevant, and that is much different issue and much more. That's why I'm said in the beginning that this is more elusive and indistinct in its causes, but more detrimental and dangerous in its effects. Right? Because with greenwash, it's quite simple, like that, simple issue, but with particularization, it is not as simple. It's a different ballgame. So let me give you some examples of what I mean by this particularization. Well, let's say that you are a hotel retreat, eco-retreat in Maldives, right? And you are fighting plastic pollution for clean oceans. So you got rid of these toothbrushes, plastic toothbrushes, and you've replaced them with bamboo toothbrushes, right? So you do that, but at the same time, you're flying in Argentinian Wagyu beef at the same time, right? Or that you are securing precious water, that's what you're saying, and you know, and you have installed water efficient tubs, but at the same time you're flying in Norwegian water, right, and serving it in single-use plastic bottles. Another example, that you are a different hotel and that you encouraging your guests to use the same towel twice, right? But at the same time, you don't invest or you don't buy renewable energy. You don't have solar panels, or if you can't get solar panels, you don't purchase renewable energy from the retailer. Or you are a mining company and you are rehabilitating, reforesting an old mine site, decommissioned mine, right? So you show pictures of reforested mine that you've actually reforested. Fantastic, right? It's greener, it's not just a yawning pit in the ground, but at the same time, you are expanding other coal mining, right? Or let's say that you are a chocolate company and you have replaced single-use plastic packaging with recyclable paper packaging, right? But at the same time, you are deforesting Ivory Coast or Indonesia, where you grow your cocoa, right? Needed for your chocolate, obviously. These examples I've given you were to show you the power of particularization, because none of these companies are greenwashing. The bamboo toothbrush, the rehabilitated mine, or paper packaging instead of single-use packaging on chocolate biscuits, all of these things have some minimal environmental benefit. But by these companies sharing these true and legitimate green puzzle pieces, which is available through particularization, because they have done the numbers, they can back it up, there's been a report done it, and it's got a certificate, etc., right? All of that can misguide me and misdirect me from seeing the bigger picture, the actual bigger long-term picture, the bigger environmental footprint. And that's why particularization is way more dangerous than greenwashing.